2021 for Google's Cloud program. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Nirav Kothari, who will be joining us today as the speaker for today's workshop. Mr. Kothari is a Google Cloud developer expert and co-organizer for GDG Cloud community. He is currently working as a technical architect at Quantify. He is technical manager with 16 years of experience, having a strong grasp on application designing and development. He was earlier a part of Center of Excellence and Practice team at Xoriant and has successfully managed several projects simultaneously. We look forward to Mr. Nirav's insights and believe that the participants will be able to benefit a lot from his expertise on the subject. So, hello Nirav, how are you? I hope you are doing well. Hello Nirav.
Hi Divyansh,
Hi Nirav.
how are you?
I'm good. I hope you are doing well as well.
Yes,
So,
absolutely fine. Thank you so much for introducing me.
yeah, thanks for
Uh,
joining today. We have students from Bennett and Galgotias University here. So let's not get them waiting, and the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much. I'm just trying to turn on my camera. That's somehow not happening. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, sure. I'll also check with my tech team if there is some kind of glitch or not. So, Kanav, Samarth, can you check?
Yes, Divansh, it is opening at my end.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I guess everything is perfect.
Am I visible now?
Yes, yes, you are visible. Yeah.
Thank you so much for confirming that. Uh, okay, let me share my screen now. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, it is visible. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hello everyone. Big hi to everyone. I know you guys are must be very excited about a new journey that you might be starting today. I'm sure that you guys are going to learn a very interesting and very upcoming field. It's a technology that has driven all the industries in recent past. I would expect all of you to get something out of this today's session, and at the end of the session I'll share my social media handle, and then we can chat. If you have any questions, if you need any kind of guidance, I'm always there to help you, all of you. It's my pleasure today that I am speaking to so many young people. I've been in the industry since so many years now, and today I've got an opportunity to talk to all of you, and I'll try to inspire you based on what knowledge I have, or what knowledge I have gained while working in this industry. Uh, without uh, without wasting any further time, let me start about my presentation. And it's going to be on how can you start your journey in cloud computing, and specifically Google Cloud. Okay, so let me jump directly into it. Divyansh has already introduced me, but here is a small gist of what I am. I'm actually a Google developer expert from Mumbai, and yeah, Google developer expert can be in various categories. I'm specifically an expert in Google Cloud Platform. I am also Google certified professional cloud architect. There are various certification programs provided by Google. So I am certified architect in Google. I'm also a co-organizer of GDG Cloud Mumbai, which is a community which regularly organizes various events where we all meet up. We arrange sessions, talks from various industry leaders, and it's a platform for people to share their knowledge, and at the same time attendees can upskill themselves, can gain knowledge out of it. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. And It's a no-profit organization. We don't charge anything. It's a completely free. Anyone is allowed to attend this. Right now, we have like 4,600 plus members in this community. There are GDG cloud communities across all countries, major countries in India. Apart in my professional career, I'm working as a technical architect. I have in all 17 years of experience. I've worked on various technologies, whether it is cloud computing, machine learning, data science, robotic process automation, IoT, application development, application integration. So I've worked on many technologies. I have a diverse experience. So with that, I would like to start my presentation, and with the only intention that I can inspire you all. You guys are just starting your career. I would like to inspire you all to be part of this exciting journey and gain and learn out of this technology. Okay, so let me ask you one question. What is cloud computing? And this, what you see on the screen, is the smallest possible definition of cloud computing. The reason, of course, I know it's not that small, but the reason I said it is small is because, the amount of work that cloud computing does, or the amount of features that it offers, looking at that, this definition is very, very small. And that's why I say a small definition. But I'm here to help you out. I don't want to confuse you on day one. And that's why I have reformatted the same definition in a much presentable format. And here it comes. It's the same definition, but tried it in a better way. Now, when we say delivery of something, what do you mean? You guys have been ordering products from Flipkart and Amazon, right? So they are delivering a product at your doorstep. Now here, in case of cloud computing or a computing services, delivery of computing services means it's a delivery of computing services, not the product, but computing services. What do you mean by computing services? When you say computing services, that means you need everything that a computer includes. For example, a server or a physical machine. For example, storage, which means your hard disk or SMD drive that you might have. Databases, you might have databases to store all your data, right? You might have router and a network in your premises to connect more than one devices on the same network. So that also includes networking. Softwares, some operating systems. Am I visible, guys? Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a sec. Okay, can you see my streaming video as well as the screen?
No, only the PPT is visible to us.
Okay, let me share that as well. Oh, I think I'm a guest to this meeting, so probably it's allowing me only one streaming way, either the my video or my screen. So is it okay if I just share my screen and not video?
I guess it's okay. Yeah, you can just share your PPT. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Can you see my screen with what is cloud computing?
Yes, it's
okay. Perfect. So as I said, that delivery is basically cloud computing is delivery of computing services. Now this computing services could be your server, your storage, your databases, your networking, etc. Now, why do we call it as cloud then? It's a delivery of computing services. Then why are you calling it as a cloud computing? The only reason we call it as cloud is because these computing services are not physically delivered at your doorstep. Rather, it's delivered to you over the internet. So they might have all these computers and storage devices somewhere lying in this world, and they would only give it to you access to that machine over internet. They will not physically give it to your house, right? So that's why it's called over the internet, which is referred to as the cloud. Okay, so I hope by now you are clear on what is cloud computing. Okay. Now, why do we even need, or why does it even exist in today's world? Because of these few reasons. With cloud computing, you can achieve faster innovation. What do you mean by that? Today, let's say if you want to build an application, you wrote certain code for that. Okay. Now, you would like to deploy it on one of the machine so that it keeps running there and anyone can access it, right? But to do that, what do you have to do? You have to either allocate a physical machine for that, which may take a lot of time because you might have to go to shop, buy a machine, bring it back to home, install necessary operating systems and softwares, and then deploy your application, which takes a hell lot of time, right? To avoid that, that's why the cloud computing is existing today. Within few seconds, you can get a running machine at your fingertips. You get your machine directly deployed, and that's why we call it as, with cloud computing, you can achieve innovation faster. You can deploy your application faster. Flexible resources. What does that mean? Flexible resources means today you want to deploy an application on, say for example, 4 GB RAM and 2 virtual CPU machines. But tomorrow, traffic to your application may increase. And in that scenario, you cannot go to shop again saying that, oh, give me now higher configuration machine. You can't do that. That's not allowed, right? So you need a way by which you can easily change the configuration of your systems. And that is provided by cloud computing. That's why we call it as flexible resources. Also, when you have, let's say if you have to, if lots of people have started using your application, your application is seeing a lot of traffic, you might need to extend it to more than 1 or 2 computers. You might have to deploy your applications on hundreds and thousands of machines. Now, if you have to deploy hundreds and thousands of machines in one of the rooms in your house, that's physically not possible, right? And that's why you need cloud computing. With cloud computing, you can deploy your applications on thousands of machines within seconds. And that's why cloud computing is becoming more and more popular, because that allows these organizations to scale their application very easily. Apart from that, what other benefits does cloud computing provide? It allows you to pay only for cloud services that you use. For example, Monday morning you start your application on one of the machine, okay? And Friday evening you think that that machine probably no one is going to use that application. I want to switch that off. You can do that just to save your billing. Imagine a physical computer. Once you have bought it, it's with you for lifetime, and you can you have to spend upfront a huge amount. You might get a computer at like 30, 40, 50,000 rupees. Without that, you cannot even get that machine and deploy your application. Whereas in case of cloud, you can just start with a basic, very small computer and as your traffic keeps on increasing, you can change the machine type, and all that scaling is possible. And another benefit is you don't have to spend upfront amount like 40,000-50,000. Let's say you deployed your application on Monday, and Monday evening you thought of stopping that application. You don't want to incur billing anymore. You don't want that application. You can switch off that machine and your billing stops. That was not possible with physical machines. And that's why cloud computing is becoming more popular. With this, you can run your infrastructure more efficiently, and also as your business demands, you can scale your application very easily. I hope by now the cloud computing and the benefits given by it are very much clear to you. Let me summarize whatever we talked about in the next slide. When we say cloud computing, it's basically this 5 major points. It's basically an on-demand service, which means that whenever you want, you spin up a machine or spin up a resource or a service, and the moment you don't want it, you can stop it. It's an on-demand service. Second, it's a self-service. You don't have to be dependent on anyone to procure that machine and etc. etc. Whenever you want, you can do it yourself. Second, it also allows you to do something like automation, which means that every Monday morning I want to start my application. So you can schedule it, by the way. With the scheduler, you can fire one API saying that start my application, and Friday evening you can fire another API saying that stop this service, which means there is no human intervention required. It does automatically everything. So that is possible with the help of cloud computing. So imagine you had an application running on a physical machine. Somebody had to manually switch on the machine, start the application, and then stop the application, etc. But with this, you can automate the stuff. Broad network access, which means you don't need to be physically present there, and in fact, you can remotely access it. If you are sitting in any corner of the world, from there you can start your application because it is available on internet. Resource pooling means they have a huge machines in their premises, in their data center. I mean, the cloud providers have their physical location where they deploy all these huge machines, and they allow multiple clients virtual machines to run on a single machine. So what do they do is, on a physical machine, they create multiple virtual machines, and each of these virtual machines can be catering to different clients. And that's what we refer to as resource pooling. Rapid elasticity, which means that you can, as we discussed, you can scale up, you can scale down as and when required. Measured service, which means you're being paid only for that much amount of time for which you were running the application or running that resource. The second when you stopped your service, your billing stops. So there is no point of cheating there. It's very transparent. It's very clear to everyone who's using it. Okay, so now let me dig a little bit further on this. So why are we even talking about this? How did we get here? What happened earlier? What used to be existing at earlier point of time? What is existing today? And where are we heading towards? So this slide talks about that. So let me talk about earlier days, somewhere up to early 2000s. All the organizations used to deploy their applications in their physical data center, which means that they used to have their own physical machines in their organization. and there they used to deploy the applications. So let me talk about what are the steps they were at that point of time. They used to first develop the application, all the coding, programming, and all of that. Once that is done, they think about where to deploy it. And for that, they have to size it. Estimation, they have to do the estimation for sizing. For example, if there are going to be like 1,000 users in a day, then probably I might need 4 GB machine and probably 2 virtual core CPU. So they used to estimate this, and that was all dependent on the person's judgment. There was no physical science behind this estimation. Sometimes it used to go wrong, sometimes it used to succeed. But this is an activity that somebody had to take, and had to take the risk of estimation. Once that estimation is done, they had to procure these machines. So they had to, raise purchase order, and and then once they have finalized the, biller, the vendor, they will have to work on the shipping and logistics of that machine. Once that machine is, in your premises, they had to set up the operating system, set up their server application, libraries, and then they finally install their servers on that machine. So there were a number of steps included in that, So it's not that, the moment I completed application development using coding and all that, I cannot deploy it immediately. I need a lot of logistics after that. And that's why it gave birth to cloud. In cloud, you only had to, work on application development, but the second and third part, the sizing, estimation, and procurement and logistics, that is automatically taken care, because for procuring a virtual machine, you just have to click few buttons. That's all. So the process of few months has turned into few seconds now. Plus, sizing is also not required, because you can scale your application or virtual machines at any point of time. So you don't need to think about what will be the size of my user base, what will be the CPU requirement and all that. That's not required. You can start with, on day one, you can start with minimal physical configuration, and then you can keep on increasing. So second and third step are omitted in this. And the last step, of course, you have to do it where you install OS and libraries and your application on that. Now that was the first generation of cloud. But then later on, they thought of, can we automate the third part also? I mean, the fourth point here, which is setting up of operating system, libraries, servers, etc., etc. Can we do that? And I only focus on app development. That's what is called as serverless on cloud computing. Serverless does not mean there is no server. Servers are there, but the person who is managing it does not have to worry about the servers. And all the remaining three part is automatically taken care by the cloud computing cloud provider. So we are going in the direction where most of the services are becoming serverless as of today. And most of the things are being automatically managed by the cloud provider. Okay, so let me move on. Now we know that where are we going in the cloud computing, but what makes it interesting? Why should we even think about it? Look at the graph on the left hand side. In 2011, this survey is actually carried out every year. Okay, in 2011, 51% of organizations said that we are using some cloud component, some application which is deployed on cloud. It could be any application, okay? But 50% of organizations were using cloud. But in 2020, 81% of organization, which means any organization that you might be thinking about, they are 81% of that organizations are using cloud in today's world for some or the other application, and which means that this trend is increasing, and it's a right time for everyone to get involved in cloud. No matter what no matter what job role that you are thinking in future, all the roles are now dependent on cloud applications. So cloud has become inevitable as of now. Look at the right side of trend, which is on the right hand side. What kind of applications are deployed using cloud or built using cloud? All website applications or web applications that you see in this world or internet, most of them are now, are cloud based. All the collaboration tools, for example, your Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, or Skype, or whatever, Zoom, they are all now on cloud. They are powered by cloud. All enterprise applications, all enterprises in the sense, or companies usually have enterprise applications installed in their system, in their enterprise, which is called, customer relationship management application, or enterprise resource planning application, which is SAP and all that. They are also now powered by cloud. Mobile applications, you might have seen, Swiggy, Zomato, Uber, and whatnot. They are all these mobile applications are now powered by cloud. BI and data warehouse. All the managers of companies usually need some sort of dashboards, some business analytics applications where they can, get insights and take the right decision. All these applications are called BI applications, business intelligence applications. And these applications are also now powered by cloud. AI and machine learning. So all your machine learning models and machine learning applications are now powered by cloud, because cloud provides so many services which help you to build your machine learning applications very quickly. So you don't have to spend too much of time in training the model, then testing it out and all that. It's a lot of things are already provided by cloud, and you just make a use of it, and that speeds up your development cycle. So looking at this, it's very much clear that all the applications that we might think of developing in recent future, they would all be powered by cloud, and it's a right time for you all guys to get involved in cloud, so that you are up to speed when you graduate out of your colleges. Okay, let me move on. Now we know the benefits of cloud. Let me talk about what are the categorization of cloud. When we talk about cloud, broadly we can categorize it into two categories, whether it is a private cloud or a public cloud. When I say private cloud, which means it's a cloud that is dedicated for a specific enterprise, for a specific organization. You cannot, in the same cloud, you cannot have virtual machines of different companies. Whereas in public cloud, that is allowed. So all your, Azure, Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform, they are all public cloud. And in the same physical machines or same facility, they might be providing services to various companies, various enterprises. And that's why they are called as public cloud. I hope the difference between private cloud and public cloud is clear. Let me move on. There's another categorization which we call it as multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. Of course, these concepts are a little bit advanced in nature, but you might not even want to get into it as of today. You might want to revisit it once you have enough expertise in public cloud, then you can start working on multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. But at a conceptual level, I would say the multi-cloud is that strategy by which you use services from various cloud providers, various public cloud providers. For example, Google, you would use some services from Google Cloud, some services from AWS, and some from Microsoft AWS. That's called what is called as multi-cloud. The reason that you would use multi-cloud ever in your architecture, application architecture, is you might want to get best of the breed features, or because some cloud providers might have a better edge on some feature as compared to other cloud providers. So to get the benefit of all the cloud providers, you might want to use multi-cloud. And sometimes, to reduce the reliance on any particular cloud provider, also you might want to use multi-cloud. Okay, so these are some of the strategies that people use to and they use multi-cloud. Now, what is hybrid cloud? Of course, they look a little bit synonymous, but hybrid cloud is little different. Hybrid cloud is something where you have public cloud providers, some services running on public cloud provider, and some services running on your physical data center you might have in your organization, or private cloud. Why would you even think about hybrid cloud? Some of the organizations, specifically banking and finance related companies, usually do not allow their data to go out of their organizations, and this is only for maintaining the compliance. Okay, for auditory requirements, they cannot send out their data to outside of their organization. So what they do is they build a private cloud within their organization, but they also want to take the benefit of public cloud, which GCP and AWS are providing. So what they do is some portion is running on public cloud and some portion is running in their private cloud, and they integrate both these cloud providers so that they can take advantage of both these cloud providing mechanism, and at the same time they can comply for their auditory requirement as well. These are a little bit advanced topic. You might not want to go into it as of now, but it's good to understand the difference between them. As of now, you can only focus on public cloud providers because that's the first and easiest way to make use of cloud services. So in public cloud provider, who are the providers? Which companies are operating in these businesses? So you might already be aware that Amazon Web Services, GCP, and Microsoft Azure are are holding the major market share. Out of all this, AWS holds the highest market share, followed by Azure and then GCP. But the fastest growing cloud provider is GCP as of today. It's increasing rapidly. Many organizations are adopting Google Cloud Platform now because of the engineering and the quality of services that GCP provides. There are other providers also available in the market: Oracle Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, which has recently come up, and IBM Cloud. Okay, so that was all about cloud computing in general. All the following slides will be related to GCP, okay, Google Cloud Platform. Why? I'll try to speak some, something about why is GCP so having an edge over other cloud providers. Let me explain you this diagram, okay? Whenever you create a machine or create any resource in the GCP, by resource, I mean creating a virtual machine or creating a database instance or creating any other service. Whenever you create that, these services are actually created at one or the other location of GCP. Okay, now this location can be categorized into two parts. One is region and another one is zones. Regions are nothing but geographical regions. Okay, there is no specific boundary to these regions. It does not mean a city, it does not mean a state or a country or a continent. It's based on their usage, people's usage traffic. Google has decided these regions, and whatever blue dots that you see in this diagram are actually the regions of GCP. So they have, as of now, 28 regions in this world, across the globe. And these regions are split across all the continents. Now, each region would have at least 3 or more zones. Now, the zones are basically where their physical infrastructure exists, where they have all the computers and other hardware. So usually they have multiple zones in a particular region. So for example, let's say if Mumbai is a region, under Mumbai region, they would have multiple zones. They don't disclose where exactly they exist, but you can think of one region might be existing in, say for example, Bhiwandi, some in Pune region, or something in Ahmedabad or something like that. So within that region, you would have multiple zones. The reason that they keep these zones so apart is because if electricity goes or any disaster occurs in a particular zone, other zones should not be affected. So the region is still up. That's how they have split up their regions and zones in a strategic manner. Okay, so I hope the zones and regions is clear to you. Now, all these regions are actually connected through something called as high-speed fiber optic network. That's a network that Google has laid down across the globe. This also includes some of the undersea submarine cables. These cables are optical fiber cables, and that is laid across the between the continent through under the sea. They have laid down these optical fiber cables. And because of, you all might already be aware that optical fiber is very high speed communication media. If you had to, if your traffic has to travel through internet, and if your traffic has to travel through fiber optics is much more faster than your local internet. And that's why they have laid down this optical fiber network across the globe. Now, all the black dots that you see here are actually the something called as edge point of presence. These POP are basically nothing but where Google's optical fiber network meets the regular internet service providers. And you can see that is laid out across the globe. There are 150 plus locations where they have this POP. Now consider a case where you have, let's say for example, one application running in North Accessing and from your Mumbai region, from your house, for example, you are accessing that application through your browser, through your computer. So what will happen is, through your regular internet, you would reach up to point of presence through regular internet, which would be a slower traffic, and then from there it can connect to your application over optical fiber through optical fiber. So that communication would be very fast, which means that from your home to your application in North America, you can have a connectivity very fast, and GCP provides this functionality, this optical fiber network, which is the backbone of their GCP platform. I hope it is clear. Here are some of the clients that they are actually using Google Cloud Platform as of today. You might see that some of the clients are in banking industry, some of them are automobile related, some of them are IT companies, and some of them are logistics and clear trip kind of travel and tourism kind of industries as well, which indicates that irrespective of industry, the GCP turns out to be a boon for all these cloud computing or infrastructure requirement of any organization. Moving on. What does GCP provide? Okay, we talked about GCP has so many advantages, but what is it providing to you which you can utilize? So GCP provides hundreds of services. Within GCP, you have lots and lots of services. When I said that you can create a virtual machines on demand whenever you want, so that creating a virtual machine is just one service. They call it as compute engine, the first one. So that is just one service. Like that, there are hundreds of services available in GCP suite. But we can split all of these services into, or categorize all of these services into 4 different verticals. Compute related, which means infrastructure related, which means giving you some platform or infrastructure where you can deploy your applications. So all of that can be covered under compute. Another kind of services, another vertical of services is storage, which means they give you services where you can store your data, whether it is your hard disk or whether it is a database where you can store your data. All of that is covered in storage services. There are various types of databases available in the market, and GCP also provides number of types of databases based on what kind of data you are going to store and how you are going to retrieve data from that database. You can choose the most comfortable services from the GCP suite. I don't want to bother you as of now about the differences in all these database services. It might be too much for you as on day one, but going further, when you have good acquaintance with GCP, I would urge all of you to explore all the storage related services, but not today. The another vertical that we can think of is big data related services. So over the past few decades, every organization has acquired so many data that it becomes so difficult to manage this huge data in databases, and that's why there are lots of big data related services available in the market. Those have been invented because organizations have started facing issues in managing huge data in databases, and all of these products now are available to manage your huge data sizes. And there are so many services available in GCP suite to handle your huge data that comes under big data category. When you have huge data, you don't only want to work with storing of that data. You might also want to process that data. You might want to transform the data. You might want to query that data, filter the data. All of this would be required. And that's why there are so many services in GCP available to handle all of these requirements in big data. The fourth most prominent vertical that I would say is machine learning. So if you are aware that there are so many applications are available today are dependent on machine learning technology, and GCP has provided so many services which help you to build your applications using machine learning. So they provide various tools by which you can build your models very easy, and it handles a lot of things for you, and you can focus only on your application development and model development. If you want to focus on model development as well, then you can use something called as AI platform. Okay, that's again a service provided by GCP. But if you don't want to focus on model development, but only use a pre-trained model. Okay, if you want to use pre-trained model in your application, then you use something called as ML related APIs. Google over the years has already trained few models based on whatever they have learned in this world. They have already trained models so that you can directly use those models and in your application, and you don't have to get the expertise of machine learning to use that. And I'm going to cover these ML APIs in the subsequent slides. The reason being, I want to focus more on machine learning related APIs, so that I want you guys to get started thinking about what can you build with these GCP ML services. You might see some of this as a kind of magic, but there's no magic in this world. It's all about technology. So the technology has stepped so much ahead today that you can utilize those technology and build very intelligent applications in today's world. And I want you to guys start thinking about these kind of applications. Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, and all of that were at one point of time were just an idea, and then they started building a small applications, and then how big those applications are they as of today. I want you all to start thinking about this kind of applications, but that you can do it only when you know what these services provide you as a feature. I'll go over those in subsequent slides. But before going into machine learning, let me cover briefly what the compute services that GCP provides. Depending on how much do you want to get involved in deployment, you can decide different types of models of basically the services available on GCP. As I mentioned earlier, that after creating your application using coding, you might want to deploy it on one of the server and then test it and all that. But let's say if you want to focus only on application development but not on the deployment of the application, then there are solutions available on GCP. If you want to work on everything, development as well as deployment, then you can use something called as IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. And compute engine is one of the service provided by GCP, which falls in IaaS category, which means that you get lot of control in your hand, because you can choose what RAM I want to employ, how many CPUs I want, what should be the networking and security policies, what hard disk I want to use. You get all these flexibilities. But if you only want to focus on application programming, then you can use something called as PaaS, platform as a service. And the offerings that GCP provides for PaaS is called as App Engine. There you do not get flexibility of choosing your hard disk, CPU, RAM, etc. But you just have to create your code and upload it as a bundle, either zip file or something else. You just package it and upload it, and GCP will or App Engine will decide how to deploy it, how many computers I would need, how many, what should be the security criteria, etc. All of that will be handled by GCP. So depending on your comfortness or your expertise in your organization, you can choose to go with either Compute Engine or App Engine. There are other services also available called Kubernetes Engine, Cloud Functions, and Cloud Run. Cloud Functions and Cloud Run are also a serverless application deployment platform where you just have to focus only on the application code, nothing more than that, and they will handle the deployment of the application. I hope I could give a little bit of insight on computing power of GCP. I have written few blogs. If you are interested to explore more on the compute engine, you can go over my blog and understand these concepts a little bit in more detail. I'll share the blog URLs and all at the end of the session. Apart from that, computing power, let's say basically GCP provides so many APIs. Okay, the APIs are nothing but already built certain functionality, and in your application you just use those APIs so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Those APIs are already available so that your application development becomes quite fast. You might have seen applications like Uber and Zomato. They include some sort of map related APIs so that they don't have to work on what streets, what city, and all of that. That's provided by these cloud providers, and they only have to integrate those APIs in their application. So the development of that their application becomes quite fast. Similar to maths, there are 351 or 350 plus APIs available on GCP as of today, and this number keeps growing every day. So as of now, there's 351 available as of today. You can go onto this page where you can have a look at what kind of APIs are available on GCP. Some of the APIs, I'll give you some examples. As we discussed earlier, that you can turn on your application, turn off your application on Monday morning and Friday evening. So for those things also, there are APIs available. And in case of various other based on various other categories are of APIs are available, you can look into it by browsing this catalog. Moving on. Now let me focus a little bit more on the machine learning related APIs provided by GCP. There are 4 different APIs that I want to cover here. The first one out of it is natural language API. By natural language, I mean, you can pass in a piece of text to this API, and it can bring out some of the insights from that text. You can choose what insights you want, but these are the four insights that you can take out from that. First is sentiment analysis, which means that for example, you can pass in the reviews of a product or a movie to this API, and you can figure out whether the person's sentiment was happy or sad while writing this blog or review. You can also extract out entities from the text. By entity, I mean there are standard entities. which means, places in the world. For example, cities, countries, continents, etc. So it can highlight all the words which are related to this places. Entity, so there are various types of entity. Place, names of a person, airports in this world, dates, etc. So these are all entities. You can pass in a paragraph of text to the API, and it can find out all these standard entities from your text. And the place where you can use this is, you can actually detect which all documents are related to Mumbai, for example, or which all documents are related to so and so person, so for example, Sachin Tendulkar. So all of this is possible when you can extract the entities out of your text. Another thing that it provides is syntactic analysis, which means that you can find out all the verbs, adjectives, nouns, etc. And this is probably useful when you want to process the text. You want to categorize your text. That time it's probably useful. Text categorization. Let's say if you submitted a huge corpus of all the news articles to the API and to your applications, not to the API, but to the application. And you want to categorize these news articles into, for example, sports related articles or politics related articles. All of that is possible with the help of text categorization. Okay. So here are some of the applications that you can build with the help of natural language API. Document classification, which is similar to sports related or politics related. So you can do that kind of classification. Product review analysis. So somebody uploaded the product reviews, but you want to check whether the what is the rating of that. You want to derive the rating of product based on the reviews. So that is all possible with this. Text summarization. If somebody has written a huge blog, but you want to summarize that in a small 1 or 2 paragraph, that can be done with the help of this API. That is called as text summarization. Topic detection, which means that find out the similar kind of thing where you categorize your documents into different topics. Whether the document talks about sports, politics, and there are chances that a document can contain information related to multiple topics also. So it can detect all the topics from your document. So here are some of these examples, applications that you can build with the help of natural language APIs. The reason that I want to cover all of this is you can start thinking about what I can build with the help of these APIs. Now let me move on to image related intelligence. There's an API called Vision API provided by GCP, and that helps you to detect all of this. It helps you to detect faces from the images, landmark, for example, Taj Mahal or any other popular landmarks, logo of the companies, all the popular companies, Infosys, Tesla. So it can detect the logos from the images. It can detect the labels. For example, if you it can label the images as this image corresponds to streets, or this label it's related to mountainous area, so or a boy is playing, so those kind of labels it can detect. You can detect from these APIs. Also, one of the most prominent use case of this Vision API is text detection, which we usually call it as optical character recognition. So you pass in the images of the text, okay, and then you try to extract out the text from that. I'll tell you the example. in earlier days, all the documents, now document could be, invoices, or could be shipping related, or a challan, or any kind of this transaction related documents were all physical in earlier days. Now, all of these organizations are actually maintaining the physical copies of these documents, but you want to, digitize this as of now, because you don't want to store all of this hard copies of these files. So all of these companies are now digitizing this. And that's possible only with the help of this OCR, optical character recognition, wherein they click a photograph of their documents and they pass it on through this API. This API will extract out all the character and the text from it, and which you can store it in your databases. So for all digitization related applications, you would need API, something called as Vision API. Other benefit that you can get from this API is image properties. So it can tell you what are the prominent colors in your image. Object localization means, let's say there's an image consists of lot of details. For example, a boy is playing, somebody is cycling on the street. In the same image, a car is going, or for example, there's a traffic light also in the same image. So this with object localization, this API will let you know that I can find all of these objects from this image, and it will also tell you the bounding boxes of all of these objects in your image, which you can process that further. It can also give you crop hint related to cropping. Let's say if you have a huge image, but only in the center part there is some meaningful information line, but rest of the things are all junk. Then it can tell you can crop this image from this bounding box to, it can tell you the bounding box range where you can crop this image. It also helps you to search the web entities, which means, for example, you can pass in the image of a jacket or a person wearing a jacket, okay? And it can, you can tell it that, get me all the shopping sites which sells this kind of jackets. So there are a lot of things happening here. It has to first identify the jacket that it is wearing. You're not interested in the person wearing it, but you're only interested in the jacket part of it. With that image, you are searching on internet about all the similar, basically search all the shopping sites where similar kind of product exists. So this kind of application you can build with the help of Vision API. Also, it can give you hints on whether your image contains any, adult information or any violence related to information. So all of this can be extracted from Vision API. Now, given all of these features of Vision API, what can you build with Vision API? So you can build, so this is not exhaustive it, but you can start thinking about that. So you can, create something, some application which can recommend images. So you pass in an image and it can tell you, these are related images to what you passed in. Another thing is Vision product search. So as I mentioned, by passing in the person's jacket, you can detect all the shopping sites. So that is what you can do with that. Document classification. For example, when you go to any bank, they ask you for all the related documents. For example, your Aadhaar card, your driving license, and your passport, and all of these ID proofs, right? And they store it in one folder, right? Now, later on, if they think that they want to categorize all these documents, They want to categorize, and they want to put all the passwords from various people into different folder, and all the passports or Aadhaar card in a different folder. So you might want to classify all these documents in all these categories. So that is possible with the help of Vision API. Digitization of documents, we have already talked about that. So think about, I would want all of you to, wear your thinking hats and think about what kind of applications you can make with, given that Vision API provides these features. Just like video, you can also pass in, just like images, you can also pass in videos, and you can try to extract out intelligence from that. Now, what kind of intelligence you can extract? Object detection, just like images, it can detect, a person in the video, and also track that object moving from one end to other. You can track that motion. Short change detection. For example, let's say you have a room consisting of CCTV camera. Now, nobody generally goes in that room, and in that room, robbery happens, and you have been given a task to, look at a particular day's footage, CCTV footage, and find out who had done the robbery. You can't literally go and visit the, play the video of whole day. That will take one more day to detect that. In such scenarios, short change detection will be very much handy, will be helpful. So it can mark all the time ranges where it has found some motion in the images or in the video, and that will ease out your task. Automated subtitle generation. So you pass in a video and all your subtitles will be automatically generated. Apart from that, it can, just like your image recognition, it does a lot of similar features: logo detection, label detection, text detection. So video intelligence also provides these features. At the same time, it also detects celebrities in your video, and of course, explicit content detection. For example, adult and violence present in the videos. Now, where can you use this video intelligence APIs? You can use it for content moderation. Somebody has uploaded a video, and if you want to moderate that, you can use this. You can also use it for recommending the content. If you are watching a video, YouTube, suggests you, recommends you some other video related to that. That's possible only when you, detect what's being played in the current video. And for that, you need video intelligence API. Contextual advertisement. So depending on what's going on in your video, you can prompt the advertisement. You can see, if the video is related to traffic light and all that, probably you can think about prompting advertisement related to or similar to that, where you can, what would people want when they are seeing the busy lights, busy streets. So you can use it in that context. Also, to make the videos searchable. For example, if you have a huge bank of videos and you want to find out all the videos that consist of an elephant, for example. So it can, actually tell you which all video consists of elephants and at what time duration. So it can make your video searchable. So that's the advantage that you get. Now you can think about, the applications you can build with this. The last one that I want to take is basically translation API. It allows you to translate your, either text or image from one language to another. You might have already used it in Google Lens. It supports 100+ languages, and you don't even need to tell what language you are passing it. It can automatically detect the language. And the quality, the kind of quality that you would see in translation is best in class. Nobody can, as of now, nobody can beat Google's translation quality. The places where you can use it is for internationalization of your applications, and of course for localization of the applications. Moving on. Now that I have given lots of information about Google Cloud and their offerings, you might get excited about it. But the basic question that you might have in your brain is, how do I start on this? I am excited, but how do I start on this? So here comes the answer. If you like browser way, okay, if you like to do a lot of things using graphical user interface, you can navigate your browser to this URL, console.cloud.google.com. When you go into this site, you can create your account and a project, and you get $300 free trial credit, which you can use it for any service on GCP, which means that you can create a virtual machine, hundreds of virtual machines, and you don't have to pay anything because that will be paid through your free trial credit. You can use all of these ML APIs at no cost because you have $300 free trial credit, which turns out to something around 22,000 rupees. You can create any other resources as well, for example, databases and all that. If you prefer like a Google SDK or a command line interface, then you can download the Google SDK and install that and directly run a command called gcloud init, and it will get you started. Now, how do you learn about GCP? So I have jotted down few points which you can use for learning more into GCP. If you go onto these URLs, you can actually access step-by-step tutorials which is created by Google developer advocates, by Google itself. And these tutorials are so easy for any newbies to learn that it talks about, go onto this URL, you will see this screen, click on this button, you will see another screen. It is that easily explained there, and all of that is explained in step-by-step manner. And when you go this portal mentions tutorials for all the services that GCP provides. And the best part is when you register, you get a free trial for 1 month, and you can try out all the services that GCP provide. All the tutorials you can try out. If you prefer YouTube approach, here are some of the playlists and channels which gives lots of insights about GCP and explained in very crisp manner. All these videos are 1 to 5 minutes videos, and explained it by the Google developer advocates only. So best of the experts have created this content. Moving on. At the same time, I would not. I would rather mention about Quick Labs as well. It's a very good hands-on platform where people can actually try their hands on the GCP console. It allows you to create Google Cloud resources, and also it provides step-by-step tutorials. The way they have created this is with the help of quests and labs. The quests are basically learning paths, and each quest or learning path has multiple labs, and each lab is basically step-by-step instructions. So you can choose what learning path you want to go in, and based on that you can select quests, and for each quest you will find number of labs there. Otherwise, no other tools provides you hands-on experimentation at no cost. So I would highly encourage you to go through this quick labs. If you want to, if you prefer Coursera courses, then probably Google Cloud Developer Advocates have already created lots of courses on Coursera, available on Coursera. And on Coursera, you get a free 1 month trial period in which you can have n number of courses that you want. And good part is that once you complete the course, you can share your accomplishment on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And the courses that has been designed on Coursera are with the help of keeping in mind that you want to opt for Google Cloud certification. So for each certification, you would see some sort of courses available on Coursera. Another resource that we cannot forget is basically Google's documentation. They have provided reference architecture for all sorts of applications that you can think of. For all industries, a solution is provided. And the kind of documentation that Google provides is one of the best that I have ever seen. I have looked at documentation of other cloud providers as well, but the kind of clarity and crispness provided by Google documentation is unmatchable. Moving on, with this, I would urge all of you to try it yourself. Don't sit and wait for somebody to urge you to do that. Try it yourself. With this, I would like all of you to keep a distant goal in your mind about getting certified in Google Cloud Platform. There are a number of certifications available depending on what role you want to play, whether you want to go with associate level certification or professional level certification. And even in professional, there are various types of certification provided based on your interest, whether you are interested in machine learning, whether you are interested in cloud services or data engineering. So depending on your interest area, you can choose to become a professional cloud certified professional. Okay, so with that, I would like to end my talk. Here is my social media handle in all the three platforms, which is Medium, LinkedIn, and Twitter. My handle is Nirav Kothari, and you can look at my blogs on Medium, and I'm quite active on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. So with this, I would like to end my talk, and I would like to open up the stage for question and answer, if you guys have any.
So thank you, Nirav. That was very innovatively described session, and I loved it. And I hope everyone thinks that cloud computing is an inevitable part of like technical aspects in the society. So I will request if anyone has any questions for Nirav, they can ask in the chat box. The chat box is open for you all. Okay, so Sahil Mishra says Firebase is part of GCP or not?
Yes, it is provided by Google Cloud Platform.
Okay, so any other questions from anyone? Okay, so Abhijit Kumar asked that what is the use cases of API as of now in the industry?
So all the, depending on what API you want to use, if you want to use machine learning related APIs, so there are four different categories that as I explained, video intelligence related API, vision API, which is for picture related thing, natural language related API for your natural language processing, and another API that I talked about is translation related API. So each of these APIs has different use cases, and during the talk I explained about the kind of applications you can build with the help of those APIs. You can, lots of companies are now using these APIs to, bringing intelligence in their application. Gone are the days now you are where you used to, store the data in database and then showing it on your, front end application. That's not the application as of today. You need to bring out some sort of, intelligence in your application, whether it is meant for, the end user or for the, engineering team to understand their client base. There are lots of APIs available. As I mentioned, talking about, maps kind of API that are being used by, Zomato, Swiggy, and even the, cab services. They are also using it. Machine learning related APIs are being called by number of, applications. For example, Google Photos. You must have seen that in Google Photos, lot of you can categorize your images, based on person name, or you can based on, the predefined categories like mountain related photos or lake related photos, or based on the all the images related to, or somewhere clip near Taj Mahal. So all of this is possible with the help of these APIs only.
Okay, so next question is from Mayank Malhotra. He says, "Sir, I wanted to pursue AIML. So could I have proper learning and certification from Google Cloud?"
Yes. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, there are certain certifications available, and specifically it's called ML. Uh, Let me open that. Yeah, this slide. So machine learning engineer is that certification that you should go for. And of course, certification is not the only goal. But if you keep that, you get to learn a lot of things. Because to pass that examination, you need to go through various services, understand lots of concepts, and that's a good way to get started. But if you are interested in certification, you can opt for machine learning engineer certification.
Okay, so next is Akshay Srivastav. He asks, "What is the good way to prepare for the professional level Google Cloud certifications?"
So if you are a very newbie, I would recommend that you go with associate level certification first. Depending on whether you are, if you are going to be using it as a functional user, not as a developer. You're going to be just want to know what features cloud provide, and then use it for your sales pitch and all of that. Then probably you should go for foundational kind of certification. When you are just started with your cloud journey, probably you can go with associate level certification. And when you have 1 to 3 years of experience, probably you can go with professional cloud engineering kind of certification. And architect is that kind of certification which where you need to know so many services of GCP, and because the kind of questions that is being asked in that is more about kind of designing the solution. So you need to know lots of services available in GCP, and then you should go for architect kind of certification.
Okay, so Arnab Tyagi asks, is VPN an example of applications of cloud?
Can you come again, please?
Yeah, sure. Is VPN an example of applications of cloud?
VPN.
VPN, Virtual Private Network.
No, so VPN is just one of the service provided by various cloud providers. GCP also provides a service called VPN, called Cloud VPN. It's not a application. It is more about how do you connect your cloud machine to your local machine. You, for example, if you have your application running in cloud, but you want to disable the access to that machine to the internet. So you can set the firewall settings such that uh, public access is disabled. Now, if public access is disabled, you are also disabled. You from your house cannot connect to that because all internet connectivity is disabled. So to solve that, usually people use something called as VPN, which means that there is only one tunnel created between cloud network and your local network, so that only through that tunnel you can have a traffic going in and out, and that allows you to connect your cloud network, but others can still not access it because you have disabled the public access. And that's where, if you want to leverage this kind of architecture, then probably you would use something called as VPN service, and it's
Okay,
a service provided by GCP.
okay, another good one coming up. So from Alok Raj. So which one is more important as of now? I'm in fifth semester student. First is 30 days of Google Cloud program or Ace Track provided by Google Cloud.
uh, no, first question was which cloud you should go for. So
Yeah,
it depends. All cloud has its own advantages and disadvantages. GCP is one of the fastest growing cloud provider as of today. Okay, and but they did not have the highest market share as of now. Okay, but you can take your call. But GCP has, and nowadays, one more thing I would say is, many organizations are going with multi-cloud approach, where they want some services running on AWS and some running on GCP. So in that scenario, also you need to learn multiple clouds as well. So if you are being, you're being, if you are getting an opportunity to learn in 30-day cloud, why not go for it? Learn that and understand what all services are provided by GCP. Then you can take a call where do you want to, gain more expertise.
okay. Further, Syed Mohammad Akram asks, at what do you think of centralization of cloud resources? There are privacy concerns and too much reliance on cloud providers. For example, whenever Google goes down, many services which are dependent on Google Cloud are affected.
Very good question. But what happens is when you, of course, nobody has the control of if your electricity goes down or say network in that data center went down. No, and these are completely out of control of any person, and that's not only specific to GCP. It can happen to any cloud provider. But to solve this kind of problem, usually people implement something called as high availability solution, which means that whatever resource that you create are usually created in multiple zones and multiple regions, so that even if there is a downtime in any particular zone, your application is still being served through different zones and different regions. That does not mean that you need a multi-cloud approach. within the same cloud also you can have high availability features. It's just that you have to open up your mind about how to implement high architecture. Now I'll give you an example. When you create any database or something like that, while creation of the database service only, it will give you an option. Do you want to enable high availability for this or not? If you tick that checkbox, it will automatically create all your machines and infrastructures and services in more than one zone or more than one region. So it is automatically handled by GCP. You don't even have to do anything for that. It's just that you have to think that I want to enable high availability. But don't forget that if you're enabling high availability, you are being charged for multiple services. The same resources are being created in multiple locations. So you might get charged little more. I hope it answers.
So Ayush Malhotra asked, how flexible will be the GCP program is going to be?
Uh, is this a question related to 30-day challenge?
Yes, it is.
So probably I do not have much idea about that. One of the organizing team member can take this question.
Okay, so Ayush, you can contact our technical head regarding this question. Moving on to the next, Ajay Raj Bharadwaj asks, will blockchain replace centralized cloud-based systems?
Blockchain is completely different. A cloud is not a competitor of blockchain. Blockchain is being used for a different purposes, and you can have blockchain in your on premises or also on your cloud provider. They are not competitor. In fact, they go hand in hand. Somebody wants to implement blockchain, they can choose to implement their blockchain on cloud provider. So there's no threat to that.
Okay, so now moving towards questions from students to our Q&A sessions, where Mr. Nirav will be asking you some questions and you can answer them in the chat box and get a chance to win Google stickers and keychains on answering them all. So, Mr. Nirav, you can ask your questions here.
Sure. So thank you, Divansh. So this is like a small quiz, and I'll get to know, based on how much response do I get, I'll get to know that how attentive were you or how interesting my talk was. Okay. So let me put up. So there are three questions. As and when you get the answers to that, you can post it in the chat box, and the first one would get would be declared as a winner. So let me put up a first question. Get ready. First question is, as a developer, I want to focus only on application code and not on the deployment. Which service of GCP will I use? Divyansh,
Yes,
I would expect you to declare the winners.
so I'll be declaring it by the end from our technical head's advice. So you can just move on to the next one. We have recorded the results.
Okay, you recorded, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So moving on, here comes the next question. How many APIs are available in GCP suite to speed up your application development? I would want an exact number, not a rough number. So this number was visible in my presentation on one of the slides.
Yeah, so the response for this question as well. You can move on to the next question.
Okay. Which two regions are available in India? Last question. Come on, guys.
So I'm glad people were very attentive throughout the session because the answers coming by, I think so they are right, and I'm very
Okay.
happy that yeah.
Awesome. So I was interesting. Okay. Okay, then if you have any more questions, you can always write to me. I will be more than happy to help you on your learning journey. I'm available on LinkedIn and Twitter. I would be answering all your queries. And in case, apart from these questions, also, if you want any kind of career guidance, you can reach out to me. I have around 17 years of experience in this field, and maybe with whatever knowledge I have, I try my best to give you the best of the best guidance. Thank you all, and once again, thanks the organizing team for hosting me today. And I hope I could do the justice to whatever was your expectation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.